So, Harry,
Yes.
if you ever won an Oscar,
Sorry, if?
okay, well, what category? I don't
When?
know. When you win an Oscar for
Goddamn.
Best Supporting Actor, who would be the first person you would thank?
Myself.
Of course.
Yeah. If you're going to win the best supporting, then you've got no one to rely on but yourself to do so. So, I worked hard for my Oscar.
Would you be one of those who just walked away and I did it all by myself and just walked straight off again to like
Probably,
a smattering of applause? Yeah.
Yeah. What is the quickest Oscar speech? Because I would aim for that.
There have been people who've just come up and said like thanks and then walked off in like 2 seconds. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. No, I think that. Yeah, I'd try and go for a record. I think of something.
I think
I wouldn't be able to get the longest because,
No.
let's be honest,
they'd drag you away kicking and screaming.
Mm-hmm.
I think to get the record at this point, you'd have to like literally run up, grab it, and run off back without saying a word. Just like
yeah,
like not even stop at the podium, just like run it like flick, and then just you're back in your seat before they've even like realised you're gone. Like.
So I've got to be like already on like stage left, and I've got to be like have a run up. They need to announce my name like mid-run.
Yeah, you'd have to be really confident you'd actually got it. Because if like if Gary Oldman gets it, it's just going to be very embarrassing for you.
Yeah. So I look forward to that Oscars when it happens.
Me too. Can't wait.
It's going to be great.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where today we are not going to be pitching any prequels, no sequels, and no spin-offs, because today is Oscars. Oscars is coming up. It's Oscars weekend.
It's Oscars weekend, yeah.
So this is going to be our Oscars preview episode. Mm-hmm. We're going to quickly run you down all the Best Picture nominees, and we're going to make a prediction in every single category. And tune in a few days from now, or whenever, I don't know. Tune in on Monday morning, and we will have another episode up for you. I say morning, less than that's ambitious.
You've got a lot of faith in my editing abilities there. At some point after the Oscars,
we will do a review of the Oscars itself. Talking about
the ceremony, any surprises,
any crazy moments that we have.
Yeah,
I doubt there will be any this year, but here's hoping.
Well, yeah, you never know.
And we'll be judging how well we each did with our predictions and talking about what we actually think of the real winner of any award. So first things first, Best Picture.
We go through. So before we get started on the rankings, how do you feel about this year generally?
Not a fan.
No,
not a fan. I think since I've been doing the Oscars, might be like 7 years now. Jesus, this has been the worst.
I would.
It's had its moments.
Yeah.
Like, it's not every film is a complete downer, or every film's terrible, or like it's a whiteout or anything like that. But it's on the whole.
Yeah, not many of these films have really inspired me.
No, there's not enough fun.
No,
I think that when it comes to 12 months from now, and we've got to choose one of these films to do on the podcast to actually pitch a sequel to, it's going to be a difficult pick.
It's going to be hard to pick one that I would be really keen to revisit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really been a year that's obviously missed the cinema. I think that's a big part of it. The spectacle. There's no spectacle. All the films are very small.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single film here that is big.
No.
Because there was only one big blockbuster last year and nobody really liked it. So.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that they're all small. We'll get into it, but I don't think that, for example, Judas and the Black Messiah, I wouldn't call that a small film.
I mean,
like it's got some power to it.
And I don't mean it like that. I mean like they're all like mid to low budget films.
Yeah.
There's no blockbuster in this. There's no Spielberg. There's
no. There's no Titanic. There's no Mad Max. There's
usually one big cinema crowd pleaser that kind of sits among the rest. And
Gravity.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, was that the big blockbuster that year?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, fine. If you say so.
No, that did really well on the Oscars.
Okay. I guess
That
was that the most profitable film that year, though. That's what I was thinking. Of the Oscar nominees.
I imagine. I don't know if it was like the blockbuster film, but it was definitely a blockbuster film.
Okay, sure.
And it was a Best Picture nominee, I think a Best Actress nominee.
I think you're right. Okay, fair enough.
And like obviously all the technicals, and it won loads of the technicals.
Sure.
So,
yeah. Well, yeah, it's missing that. It's missing the IMAX experience. It's missing the spectacle. And even a lot of these small films, I think I would have enjoyed more if I'd gone to the cinema to see them, because when I go to the cinema, I switch off my phone and the film has my full attention, and
that's-
that's on me.
yeah, that's on you.
on me. I'm just saying, that might be why I didn't enjoy it as much. Because
Yeah.
some of these films, I'll be honest, I looked at my phone a little bit.
There definitely is something to be said for being in a cinema to watch something.
Yeah.
And like I gave up on Mank halfway through.
Yeah, you wouldn't have walked out the cinema though.
No.
Although it was like 3 hours long, so we might have been stretched. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, once I've committed to actually paying a ticket and going into a room and sitting down, I'm not gonna give up halfway through.
No, we've never walked out of a film halfway through in all of our years. So
No.
yeah.
So yeah, there's that. I'd say that that's the perfect segue to go on to our Oscars ranking because I'm assuming this is both of our number 8.
Yes, of the 8 films, Mank is by far my bottom as well.
Yeah. It was long, and I assume
You didn't even finish it.
and it was boring, and it had some merit to it. Like visually, I thought it was great. The sound in it was fantastic because they clearly made some effort to make it sound like it was an older film. Like everything, even outdoor scenes, sounded like they were filmed in a slightly echoey studio.
Yeah, it was filmed like a 1920s kind of film.
Yeah, and like it did really well for that. And so good, all merits for that. But the rest of it, nah.
I mean, you say nah kind of non-committally, but it's not like you to just fully duck out.
No.
What was it about this that completely, like, I just can't even finish it?
Well, I was really bored and I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And I already don't like Citizen Kane for the exact same reasons. And I did watch that all the way through. So yeah, I just didn't really much fancy watching much more of it.
Fair enough.
And I also thought like, yeah, I've got the gist. I can make it through an episode.
Okay. You've got from it everything you're going to get from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I did sit through the entire thing. I can't say I feel particularly good about it. It's not a bad film. There's a lot, like you say, there's a lot of technical merit to it. I just didn't care. Fundamentally, I did not care. And I love old Hollywood stuff. Like I was really up for an interesting story about how a film got made, about this great rivalry between Gary Oldman's character, Joe Mankiewicz, and Orson Welles. But that's not really what this film is. It's just Gary Oldman lying in a bed talking. And it's so dull.
Yeah.
It is crashingly dull, and I don't understand people who... I mean, everyone's taste is valid, but I don't understand the people who are raving about this film because even as somebody who is primed to like a lot of the things this film is doing, I just found it crushingly boring, and I just really took against it. And it's the kind of film that just does... the Oscar voters just fall over themselves to award these kind of films. And sometimes it's really deserved, but when a film is this boring and self-indulgent, it really makes me annoyed about the whole process. It's like there are so many, even on this thin year, for this to be the most nominated of all the films.
Yeah, I know. Like it's by a big stretch. Like
By a stretch.
What is it? It's got 10, and like the majority of the best pictures have got 6.
Yeah.
Some of them have got 5. So yeah, that's a big.
Yeah. I just can't see many people coming back to this at all. It feels so self-indulgent in Hollywood for its own sake, and and it's not even true. That's the thing. If it was like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's kind of a dull story, but at least they were telling an honest one. But the whole thing's made up. That's the other thing. Like, there's no evidence of half of the stuff that happened in this film.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make shit up, why not make a more interesting story up?
Yeah. And so, listeners, for the extended version of that rant, please go to patreon.com/beyondthebox, where we have reviews of all these movies already, although we are going to do 2. We do still have to record 2, but they will be coming out very shortly, if not already, by the time you hear this.
Sure.
So, moving on to the next one. What have you got as number 7, John?
So, my number 7 is The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Ah, yes. Sure.
Where do you place that one?
I've put that as number 5.
Number 5, a little higher, okay, well, middling. I mean,
yeah.
There's a big middle pack. There's like Mank in a big middle pack, and then a top 3 for me. So, this was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. It's just I just don't really gel with these. What's the guy?
Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin. Yeah, I just don't gel with Aaron Sorkin generally.
Ah, see, I do. That's why I put it up a little bit.
Okay.
Like I enjoyed this. Like
I didn't not enjoy it.
I enjoyed watching it all the way through. Like not like I'm comparing it to Mank. I'm not comparing it to Mank. But yeah, I enjoyed watching this all the way through, and it just kept me. And that was it. And like, not all the films here have kept me. So I couldn't really rank it below any of the films that didn't keep me.
Sure.
And even though, well, I've ranked it like 5, so it's still near the end. And that's because a lot of it just feels kind of bullshit. Like, a lot of it feels made up. And I know a lot of it wasn't. A lot of it is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's actually parts of this film that I thought, that's a bit over the top. Come on, Aaron Sorkin, that's a bit on the nose. Like the black guy getting literally chained up in the courtroom, and I was like, come on, actually happened.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fair enough. Okay,
Yeah.
America is that shitty sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
But for me, the one that stood out for this example was that scene where like the main characters, they're all on the street in front of this bar with like a shaded out window.
yeah.
And they're talking about metaphors about the 60s crashing into the 50s, and then they crash through the window, and it's like, oh, this is
Yes, I mean, yeah,
this is very masturbatory for a writer to do.
yeah, that's what I just can't be doing with Aaron Sorkin's really broad strokes writing and these
Yeah.
big speeches. And there was stuff that was untrue. Like, for example, one of the Chicago 7 is a guy who is a lifelong pacifist, and he's kind of and there's a scene at the end where he like punches a racist or punches a police officer in the face, and it's that big like, whoa, yeah, the pacifist guy did it, but that never happened. And that's I think that really sucks.
Yeah.
I think if your entire life is pacifism, you shouldn't have some movie version of yourself punch a guy in the face. Like,
No.
that's just so that Aaron Sorkin can make you feel good about yourself. Like,
Yeah, that's bad writing.
that is bad writing. I find a lot of his writing is lazy and it's the same. And
Yeah.
and like the acting in it was pretty good. Like
I
even
thought the acting in it was
Eddie
great all
Redmayne
round.
who generally annoys me, was decent and
Not annoying, yeah.
not annoying. Well, he's still annoying, but he wasn't as annoying as I find him a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Sacha Baron Cohen is obviously nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he was he was the best one. He was very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just too broad strokes for me. I just can't with his films. I've never particularly enjoyed one of them. So
Yeah, that's fine. So for me, number 7, controversially, Nomadland.
oh, interesting. Okay,
Um,
that is my number 3.
Okay, yeah. This one, it was very dull. The best way that I can put this as to why I don't think this film should do well, that's not a prediction though, is that if this was a documentary, now it basically is a documentary.
It's shot as if it was. It has real people. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's mostly real people. But if it was a documentary, this wouldn't have a chance of winning Best Documentary.
Oh, I don't know. I think it would.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting story.
It doesn't say anything though.
Well, I think it tells.
There's no message, and none of the people in it have any kind of they don't have any resolution by the end of it. There's no sort of
Life doesn't have any resolution, well, apart from death. But I think it says a lot about the American economic injustice and how people can just fall off the radar. And it doesn't have that. If Aaron Sorkin had written and directed this film, there'd be a bit where Frances McDormand gives a huge speech and she points all that out, and she probably have a blackboard with all all the points in bullet points.
But this was such a stark opposite of that.
Yeah, but I like this. I like this kind of very internal, subtle film a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm not quite there for a film when nothing really happens.
That's fair. It is slow.
Yeah.
I thought it created a lot of really good atmosphere, and I thought that her performance was so good.
Oh yeah,
that
definitely.
I really believed in her as a character, and I just was interested to follow where she went, even if there wasn't a lot that she was saying or doing, because it's not the most demonstrative character in the world. I just I found her very compelling. I always do. I think she's one of the greatest actresses working, and I wouldn't be mad at all if she wins that third Oscar.
Definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was really, really good. But yeah, I'm not going to watch it every year. It certainly wouldn't work for our show. I don't think we'll be doing it next year. But yeah, I thought it was pleasant and thought-provoking and quite sweet. I enjoyed it a lot. I had a lot of style. The director, not to tangent too much, has been snapped up by Marvel, like everyone does.
No, he snapped up way before this.
I thought this was the reason she'd been snapped up for it. She's doing the Eternals, right?
Yeah, but that film's mostly finished.
Oh, okay. I thought that she was hired on the basis of this doing so.
No. I think Eternals was already supposed to be out by now.
Oh, okay.
Whereas Nomadland, I really feel like this Nomadland was filmed fairly recently.
Yeah, I think it was too. I don't know the exact timelines, but that's interesting.
And also, Nomadland doesn't look like a film that takes lots of
post-production.
Yeah, or pre-production.
Sure.
Like a Marvel film takes years of pre-production before they even start the movie. So, I don't know. I am wondering why Marvel has picked this director. Not any doubt at all on the director at all, but
it seems like a weird style.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how this is going to
I've
work
looked
out.
down her IMDb list. It's not big, and I think that their film's just like this sort of thing.
Yeah, her style is films featuring non-actors.
Yeah.
That look like wobbly camera documentaries.
Yeah.
That are very not cinematic.
And it's I find it so strange that Marvel have picked her up for like it's a major cosmic Marvel film.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's
apparently
gonna be-
Kevin Feige said the pitch she gave was the best pitch he'd ever heard in his life. So
Yeah.
it's going to go one of two ways. Let's face it.
Well, no, I've got lots of confidence in them because like she's a great director. Marvel generally pick their directors pretty well. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what it is,
Yeah.
where it goes. But that's a whole conversation for another day.
Indeed.
So yeah, I didn't much like Nomadland. You
Fair
did.
enough. And that was your number 7, right?
That was my number 7. Yes.
And my number 7 was Trailer Chicago 7. Okay.
What's your number 6?
My number 6 is The Sound of Metal.
Yeah, same.
Same. Okay.
Same, yeah.
What did you think of this one?
Yeah, so I watched this one last night. This is the one that's most fresh with me. This was, it should have been 20 minutes shorter.
Very much so.
There were, like, it wasn't overly long, and I didn't find it boring because I got into it and I believe the guy. I kind of felt for him.
I think he's the reason this film works. By far, he carries
yeah,
this film.
Yeah, definitely. He's nominated for Best Actor, isn't
Yeah,
he?
Riz Ahmed. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Oh, isn't he the first Muslim to ever be nominated for Best Actor? I think.
Maybe. I think so. Possibly.
I think I heard that in a video recently. So yeah, that's
Good
good.
for him, yeah.
But yeah, this was all right. I liked it. He went on a journey,
He did.
and like I tried to speak to Louise about like saying, well, unlike in Nomadland, there's actually some resolution to his character, and she's like, no, he's just kind of back where he was, like he just can't hear anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, which is very true. But he's been on a whole journey of like, trying to, well, first of all, learning how to be deaf, giving up on that, and like not letting go of trying to hear again.
Yeah.
Making that whole mistake, which really gave me sort of Black Mirror vibes, but we'll talk about that in larger conversation. Yeah, and just how it didn't end up well for him. I know, I just bought into more of a story.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot that was really good about this. Primarily his performance, as I say. I thought the sound design is excellent. I love the way the sound puts you in his head and makes you hear, even when it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It really
it's
puts...
horribly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's no other way they could have done it.
No.
Yeah,
But it's not something I've ever seen before. I mean, there's not that many films about deaf people, obviously. So, yeah. But it was really interesting having that, especially when he gets his surgery, implant, yeah. And it you realize, oh God, it's not a fix. It's awful. It's unbearable. You wouldn't be able to cope with that. Like, so yeah, I thought it was interesting. I just found it a little bit, like a little bit plodding, a little bit overlong, and a bit depressing. It is a fairly, and I also found the tone of the film kind of strange.
Yeah.
I thought that the message around, well, he goes deaf, and he goes to a deaf community where he's immediately told, oh, you need to let go of all of this sense of trying to get your hearing back and just accept and being deaf. And I think that in the long run, I think that's the right thing to say to someone like that. I think it is obviously good to look at deafness as being more than a disability and about, just being another way of being a human being and just accepting it. But they came down so hard on him.
Yeah.
So quickly to be like, no, stop trying to get better. You're deaf for life now. Just be happy about it. Like,
But like it almost worked as well though. For him. Like he almost just fully believed it.
yeah. I don't know. I just felt like they were shaming him a lot for wanting to get better. And I was like, well, actually, that seems weird. Maybe, yeah, if all options are run out and he will at some point have to accept it. Sure, but...
Well, by wanting to get better, he's wanting to throw away the way of life that they've all made their way of life.
True.
And they will have had to take intentional steps to make deafness their way of life. And by meeting somebody who doesn't want to be deaf, it's like, that's just saying that this way of life isn't worth living.
That's what it felt culty. It felt weird and culty. This movie to me felt like
It is weird. It's a weird situation.
It is. I get it. I know. But this movie, it felt to me in places like a movie from Ari Aster, the guy who did Hereditary and Midsommar.
Yeah.
Without the term when they all actually start, killing each other and having weird sex.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this film could go in that direction at any moment. I was like, not knowing much about it. I was like, is this film going to be a film about a weird deaf cult? Because if so, I'm in. But then it didn't quite go there.
I was getting not those vibes as well, but I was getting that idea at the start as well. Like, this does feel a little bit cult. I think it was just like, you're not allowed your car keys, you're not allowed your phone. I was like, right, okay, he's gonna get sort of like locked away, sort of thing. I wasn't expecting a horror movie.
No,
but I mean, that is kind of what Rehab is.
Sure. No, I get that, but yeah, I just thought this insistence that he had to immediately be so happy to be deaf just felt harsh and untrue and unrealistic and a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not saying it's really bad to be deaf, and I think, like I said, if that is something that is unavoidable in your life, then absolutely you should find ways to find joy in it and be proud of it and live in society. Absolutely. But I just think it's weird to be like, oh well, yeah, be happy about it. Like.
Well, the thing that the film taught you was that like that was the correct thing for his situation. That's the
I think that it was like they were really rushing him though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like give him some time, let him explore the options.
But also, are you an expert in rehabilitation?
No, I'm not. Maybe I'm being unfair. But
Yeah.
it just the tone just felt weird to me. Like, I can't. Yeah,
Yeah, that's sure.
But I don't know that world.
But anyway, on the whole, I thought this was a really good film.
It's decent, yeah.
And I've now actually switched around my list. I've put this at number 5 and Chicago 7 at number 6.
Oh, okay. It's moving on up. I'm giving it a 7 just because it didn't. At 6, sorry, because it just didn't do a lot for me. But I thought it was interesting and well acted. So,
Yeah. His performance was great. So number 5.
So you've moved this up to 5.
I've moved this at number 5. Oh, you do yours. What's your 5?
Okay, so my 5. So yeah, my 6, 7, and 8 were Sound of Metal, Trial of Chicago 7, and Mank. My 5 is The Father.
Sure. Okay, so Father, that's my favourite.
That's your number 1.
Yeah.
Wow, you really responded to that one.
Yeah.
That really surprised me. Didn't see that coming.
Really?
Yeah, I can understand now we've discussed it offline a little bit, but I was really surprised how much you enjoyed this film.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was going to be one where you'd be like, oh, here's another depressing one.
Well, that's what I went into it
Yeah.
going as. And like, I've just recently watched the honest trailers for this year's Oscars. I don't know if you've ever watched them, but
Yeah.
And they skipped this one completely. They're like, we didn't even watch this. So this one's the downer.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure. I understand why this would be the one that you'd skip, but when you actually when you watch it and you see what's going on, it's like this is actually a really interesting film told in a fascinating way, and also it's incredibly well acted.
Oh, it certainly is. Yeah.
So yeah, so this film is it's about a guy who's got a very serious case of dementia.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins. Yeah.
Yes, but the twist is that it's told from his point of view. It's not the biggest twist in the world, really.
Yeah.
But it's told from his point of view, and so a lot of this film doesn't make sense. Well, it's not quite. It doesn't make sense. It's just it's confusing.
It creates that sense of confusion, yeah, with characters keep changing, actors, and the situation keeps changing, his location keeps changing, because his mind is in and out and he doesn't remember certain things. And he thinks it's different times in his life.
It's not difficult to understand what's going on in the film because there's not much going on in the film.
Yeah.
There's very little going on in the film. But yeah, when like scenes start repeating themselves, but actors are different, and because he gets people mixed up essentially, and his memory gets muddled, and it's almost like it's a film with time dilation that's directed by Christopher Nolan. Like it's not far off, but it's done really well, and it feels like it's done really sensitively. It gives you a great understanding of what dementia is, or I believe so at least. A person who has never suffered from dementia, and I thought it was really good. It really interested me.
Yeah, I agree with you on every point. I can't say anything's wrong. I thought this was really, really good and interesting and fantastically acted. You agree? It just bummed me out. I'm only putting this low because
it is a downer. I'm not denying it.
Yeah, and when it finished, I was like, I never want to watch that again. But now you've had such a positive reaction, I was like, maybe I should give that another chance. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think because I'm not personally myself, but I've had close family members. My grandma, who was actually practically a third parent in the first 10 or 12 years of her life. She suffered terrible dementia before she died, and all of this film very much reminded me of all of that stuff. She would mix me up with my dad or my brothers and stuff, and there were things she remembered and things she didn't. So it was very like, it's not like dementia is not like a single path where you just get worse and worse and worse. Well, you do get worse and worse and worse, but it's not like suddenly you've forgotten everything. It's like the weirdest things will come back, and some days there'll be good days, there'll be bad days, and this film really captures that amazingly, and it captures the frustration of being in that situation around someone like that really well. And yeah, it's great, but it was just so depressing. And the end, it's beautiful. Like his acting in that last scene is transcendently gorgeous, and it is, if he wins, I'll be very Anthony Hopkins. This is, I'll be more than happy for him. But I was just so depressed, so it just kind of really took it out of me. So that's the only reason I couldn't say that I enjoyed it because it was just so terribly sad. Yeah, but it was very good.
Yeah. Well, that's I don't disagree with any of that.
Yeah.
Like it's all valid, and it's it's just based on each of our personal experiences. Me having a very light experience, you having a much heavier experience. These are the reactions.
Exactly.
I potentially will watch this again. I mean, not soon,
Yeah.
but like it is a film that I could come back to,
Mm-hmm.
unlike a lot of the films on this list.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that's why I've ranked it so highly.
Fair enough. No, I think that's entirely valid, and I'm glad you got so much out of it because I really didn't see that coming. So, yeah.
And like this isn't my prediction to win Best
No,
Picture.
sure, yeah.
But if it did, I'd be really happy.
Sure.
Because I feel like this is a film that's been made with passion and by really skilled people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. I'll do my number 4, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Minari.
Minari's your number 4. Minari is my number 2.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so this one I thought was pretty good too.
Yeah. I thought this was really sweet and heartwarming and also quite sad in parts, but there was enough humor mixed in and human emotion mixed in that it wasn't just like bleak. Like there were moments when I was really nervous that it was going to get super bleak. Like, I mean, there's a scene because I mean, without going too much into the plot because this isn't a full review, but the best character is the grandma. So it's about a Korean family who moved to America and they try and make their life. This is in the 1980s as well, and they set up a farm and the farm doesn't do very well and they're really struggling. And then the parents, it's Stephen Ewan from The Walking Dead. Him and his wife, their marriage is falling apart. It's really putting a strain on them. And her mother comes over from South Korea to stay with them to help with the 2 children. One of whom is this cute little boy who has a heart defect, which means he could die at any time. You know, which was another like big red flag for me. Like, oh God, how sad is this going to get? But the grandma is this fantastic comic relief. In the first half, and she really elevates it. She's nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She'll probably win. She'll deserve to win. She's really, really great and funny and fantastic. But it does take a very sad turn about 2/3 in when she has a stroke. And so then that's immediately puts the film in a bit of a downer emotionally. But then there's a scene when she accidentally burns down the farm. And then she's like, with her very limited mobility, you know, trying to swing her arm around to try and like stop the fire and only making it worse. And I was like, if Granny sets on fire, I am done with this film because, you know, having already been through a lot of depressing films this season. So I was worried it was going to get horribly late, but it didn't. It stayed just the right level, I think, of sad and bittersweet and hopeful. And ultimately, I really, really enjoyed it. And this is one I do think I'm going to watch again at some point.
Yeah, sure. That's all good. I thought this was great too. The only reason why I ranked it a little bit lower than you is I loved it for all those reasons, like great characters, and it was a really good film. It just felt like it felt a little bit lacking of something that just would make it like an iconic film.
Again, it's a small story.
So I ranked this at number 4. I just for like a top 3 Oscar movie, I feel like it needs something just a bit more memorable. In some way, and this didn't quite have that for me. So I don't really know what more to say on it.
No, that's fair. I think in a more varied and interesting year, it probably wouldn't be as high as number 2 for me. But just on the basic level, that it's a film that I enjoyed and would watch again, that's instantly like top 3 territory. So which is a bit sad, but still a very good film, and I'm glad it's getting so much attention.
I think in a year with more blockbusters, I don't think this would have made the Best Picture cut. I think it probably still would have got some acting.
Yeah, that's I think because it's a small year, small films get a bit of attention, which is nice. But I agree. This feels like it could have lifted right out of the best picture lineup in terms of being, you know, not like an event, just like a very nice, well-made film. But that's enough for me. So.
Okay, so what's your number 4 then?
My number 4 is Judas and the Black Messiah.
Put that number 3. Yeah. So this one felt like the most Oscar film of the season.
Very much so, yeah.
Not in that it was like super Oscar baity, but just
it's the kind of film that Oscars
it does take a few boxes.
Yeah, if a film like this is done well, then it will always get lots of Oscars. If it's done poorly, then it will be Detroit.
Yeah.
But when it works, and this works. Yeah.
That was probably the most depressing film I've ever watched.
Yeah, that's like an example of a film that's really depressing and not in a way that leaves you with a huge amount of, you know, or at least that was really thought-provoking.
Yeah.
That was a slog.
Yeah.
This wasn't a slog. This was...
No, not at all.
Parts of this film were really entertaining.
Definitely, yeah. Like this felt like one of the bigger... This is what I was saying at the start of the episode. This felt like probably the biggest film of the Oscars, just because it's got a great cast. Everybody's doing great performances, and it's a really interesting message that it taught me loads that I don't know.
Yeah.
Because my American Black history is not great. Knowledge is not great.
Yeah, same. I'd not heard of this particular person, and my knowledge of the Black Panthers is pretty limited in general. So, yeah.
I didn't know that there were essentially rivals to the Black Panthers of
Yeah.
like other black groups. Just didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, and this one felt like it was being educational without like beating you over the head with it in the way
Yeah.
that like Aaron Sorkin films do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this film felt. I don't know if it's like. Well, I know for a fact that certain things weren't accurate, which I'll talk about in a minute. But like for the most part, I think it's a very accurate story. And yeah, but it didn't feel like there were no moments in this when I was like, oh, that's a bit on the nose, or oh god, someone's give. I mean, there are huge speeches, but they're framed really well because it's a character who gives huge speeches.
Yeah,
So,
that's it. Like he's trying to be Martin Luther King. That's
pretty much, yeah. Or he's a great. The fact that he gives great speeches is his character.
yeah.
It's not like he stops in the middle of the film to be like, "Here's my Oscar speech."
yeah.
Now that you've seen it, I hope you agree with me. How bullshit is it that they're both in supporting?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
How ridiculous!
Yeah.
Who is the lead of this movie?
Yeah. yeah. No, Daniel Kaluuya probably should have been a Best Actor nominee for this.
Oh, see, I think if they both have to be in the same category, I'd put them both in Best Actor.
Do you think?
But I would say I would be less annoyed if Lakeith Stanfield was in Best Actor and Daniel Kaluuya was in supporting, only because there are long stretches of the movie that Daniel Kaluuya is not in. So I could be like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
He can be the supporting if there has to be one. But it is clearly a two-person film. I mean, it's
Yeah,
Judas and the Black Messiah. They
Yeah,
are
it's
Judas and the Black Messiah.
And the two of them are on the cover and nobody
Yes.
else. Like, yeah, it's a hand-in-hand movie, definitely.
100%, yeah.
So, yeah, I can see, but maybe you're not allowed two leads.
Well, it happened in Thelma and Louise. I don't know if they've changed the rules since then. But Thelma and Louise had,
Two leads.
the two actresses were both in lead. No, it's obviously something's gone down in the way people have chosen to categorize them to make them more likely to win.
Yeah. So hopefully they don't split the vote. I hope that one of them wins.
Yeah, I think Daniel Kaluuya is by far the favourite to win, and he has the showier role. Although I thought Lakeith Stanfield was excellent.
Yeah.
So my one little critique of this movie, it's not really a criticism necessarily, is that the actors are both a lot older than the characters.
Right, sure.
In fact, Lakeith Stanfield's character, I believe, was like 14 years old.
Right,
The human being at the time when he was like, and I think that's so much more, or like 16 maybe.
Yeah, that really changes
That
it.
changes the context completely.
Yeah.
It makes it so sad because they're just kids. And also Daniel Kaluuya's one, I think, was the guy was like 21 and Daniel Kaluuya is like 33 or something. And his performance is amazing, but he doesn't look like a 21-year-old.
No.
And again, that sense of them being so young, I think would make it so much sadder and so much more interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a bit. I mean, I know why, because we're not exactly overburdened with, sadly, with black actors who have a high enough profile to carry these films. So I understand why these actors were given the job, but that is my one little thing. It's like, if only they'd be able to have actors who were age appropriate as well. That would have made it even more like, whoa, like.
I think that would have made it like an iconic film, like one that people would just never forget. If like you had one amazing child actor and like a young adult actor playing these roles, and if they did a job as good as these two did, then yeah, that film would go down in history.
Yeah. Well, also I just think the Lakeith Stanfield character in this film, because he's like seems like a 30-year-old guy, he seems more villainous. It's harder to feel sympathy for him for what he's doing, because it just you do feel sympathy for him, but not as much as you would if it was like a child who was in over his head.
I feel like you kind of need to hunt for it at times.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
because a lot of the film he's a rat essentially.
Yes.
That's his thing, and for the first half of the film, he doesn't seem bothered by it.
Yeah, exactly. And if it was a kid who's like well over their head, I think it would just play differently.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So at the start of the film, he does a car robbery. He walks into a bar and he pretends to be an FBI agent. So did a 12-year-old pretend to be an FBI agent?
He wasn't 12. We're trending a bit younger than I said now. I think
sorry.
It's 14 to 16, I think it was.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. That's something I don't actually... It's been a while since I watched this. I just know that he was a lot
maybe
younger.
he was one of the 16-year-olds who just like grows a beard really early.
Yeah.
that sort
So
of
I
thing.
don't know if that was like a dramatic license thing, or he really did do that. But yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It really changes the tone a bit. But a very good film.
Yeah.
Really entertaining.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what was this? You gave it a 4. Sorry, not gave it a
I
4.
I
You
ranked it at 4, yeah.
I ranked it at 3.
Yeah.
This was a great one. I feel like I'm not going to forget this one.
Not at all, no.
But we'll have to see. So what did you give number 3 to?
My number 3 was Nomadland, which we've discussed.
Sure, yeah, because I get that as 7, yeah.
I think we were up to we're up to my number 1, I think, and you already revealed your number 1 was The Father.
So your number 1 is Promising Young Woman, which I put at number 2.
Yes. So
yeah,
we're both it's been both our top 2, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this was the first Oscar film I watched this year, I think.
I think so, yeah. Same.
Yeah, it really set a high bar that nothing else really came up to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I just found this to be like the most entertaining. And I just, in a year
Yeah.
of films that didn't super entertain me,
Mm-hmm.
I just, this is the one I want to watch again. This
Yeah.
is most likely the one we'll revisit next year because
I reckon
it's
so,
the most,
yeah.
even though like it still ends very bleakly and there's not much you can do with it. But, the rest of them also, I don't know which ones you could really come. Maybe Sound of Metal, possibly. But, there's not a lot.
Yeah.
I just really loved this. I thought it was so bold and interesting and energetic and different. And it really gripped me.
Yeah.
And it made so
Absolutely.
many interesting choices.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's stuff that you can get out of this from watching it a second time.
Oh, for sure.
And there's not a lot of that in this Oscar season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
this is the one I would like. It's not as good as Parasite by any
Oh,
means,
no.
but it's the one that I'm more.
Nothing in this list is anywhere
No,
near as
that's
good as
it's just
Parasite.
a different sphere.
Yeah.
We haven't had that this year, sadly. But it's the one that I'm most excited not just to watch myself again, but to like show to other people. Be like, watch this film. Don't read anything about it. Don't watch a trailer if you haven't already. Just watch it, and you will love it because it takes so many twists and turns.
Yeah.
And it makes a Paris Hilton song sound amazing. So it does a lot of good things.
Yeah, this is great. I don't really know what more to say on this.
No,
but
we've already reviewed it. Go to that review, but it's a fantastic film, and I don't think it's going to win Best Picture, but I'd be very happy if it did. But I'm very, very relieved it's in the mix because it was a shot of like primary colors and fun mixed with some very bleak stuff. But a lot of fun in a category that
bleak
was
stuff done in a very interesting and tasteful way.
yeah. It wasn't like misery porn.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that concludes the ranking of our best pictures.
Yes.
Shall we go through and just give a quick?
Very quick. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about the films. We're just going to pick a favorite and pick a prediction from each category. Sound
Sure.
good?
Yeah. Well, I want to talk a little bit about only a handful though, just that we haven't touched on, but only a few. But yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, we maybe might skip the first few. I don't know, but no, we'll just do quick guesses. Animated short. Did you watch any of these?
No.
There's Burrow on Disney Plus that I watched.
Is it good?
Really good.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna, given it's the only one I've seen, I'm just gonna
Give me the titles, just only for these animated ones.
Burrow, Genius, Lucky. If Anything Happens, I Love You. Opera, Yes People.
Okay. I'm going to predict that Burrow will win as well because it's Disney, so they'll have some money behind it.
Sure.
And I've heard good things.
Short film. I've not seen any.
No.
Feeling Thorough, The Letter Room, The Present, Two Distant Strangers, White Eye.
Based on titles alone, I'm going to say Two Distant Strangers. That sounds Oscar.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
Documentary short. Colette, A Concerto is a Conversation, Do Not Split, Hunger Ward, A Love Song for Latasha.
Ooh, love song for Latasha. That sounds fabulous.
Okay, I'm going to go Concerto is a Conversation.
Okay.
Documentary. Collective, Crip Camp, The Mole Agent, My Octopus Teacher, and Time.
Oh, I've heard of Octopus Teacher.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I'm going to go with that because I've heard a lot of stuff about it.
I'm going to go with The Mole Agent. That actually sounds quite interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we've both seen all of these. Sound editing. We've got Greyhound, Mank, News of the World, Sound of Metal, and Soul.
Sound of Metal.
Yeah,
Has to be,
absolutely.
yeah.
There's-
Am I right in thinking there's only the one sound category this year?
yes, they
Oh,
finally
boo.
merged them.
Boo. I loved that filler. I love that absolute filler having them both always have the same people win.
Okay, so the next one is for original song, I believe. We've seen two of these. Eurovision, Judas and the Black Messiah, The Life Ahead, One Night in Miami, and Hear My Voice.
Yeah. I think I've heard all the songs at least once. I did listen to them on a little playlist. No surprise here. Eurovision must win.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going for Eurovision. I couldn't say that I noticed I noticed some of the score in Judas and the Black Messiah at the very start and the very end, but that's it. And
The
there was
song
nothing-
didn't really jump out to me. But,
Yeah. So yeah. Makeup and hair. We have Emma.
Didn't see.
Veto. Hillbilly Elegy.
I mean, for making Glenn Close look that shitty, sure, just give it.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Uh-huh.
Mank and Pinocchio.
I haven't seen Pinocchio.
No, me neither.
I'm going to go with Ma Rainey because I actually thought the makeup was really good on that.
Yeah, me
I thought
too.
it made Viola Davis look frightful, but in a very intentional way.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with that. Film editing. We have The Father, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Ooh, editing, not Chicago 7.
I'm going to go with The Father.
Yeah, I think so too because that's kind of, I think the way that it splits between different times and stuff. It's editing is really key to how this film all
I mean,
works.
The Father, Nomadland, and Sound of Metal, they all did some kind of
They
interesting
were all really
things.
interestingly edited, yeah.
I'm going to put Sound of Metal as third there, but like Nomadland, well, it just cut all the scenes short, and I think that's all it did for me.
Mm-hmm.
It just stopped all the scenes 75% of the way through. So I'm gonna go The Father.
Yeah, I'm going to go with The Father too. I thought that I did had the most obvious editing in a good way, I guess.
Yeah. Animated feature film.
Mm-hmm.
Onward,
Mm-hmm.
Over the Moon, a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon, which, by the way, I could swear we saw trailers for in the cinema like years ago.
Yeah, I feel like that film is like 5 years old, but
yeah,
sure.
I'm confused by that. Maybe it had a re-release that
maybe
whatever.
America got it later. I don't know.
So yeah, Onward, Over the Moon, Shaun the Sheep, Soul, and Wolf Walkers.
I've seen 3 of these. I've
Yeah,
not
same.
seen Shaun the Sheep or Over the Moon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So it's not going to be Onward.
no,
Onward,
that was
Onward is
disappointing.
Onward is neither the best film in this category or the best animated.
no.
I'm going to go with Wolf Walkers.
I would like Wolf Walkers, but I think Pixar are going to take it again. But my hope is when Wolf Walkers, I thought that was beautifully animated and a really nice film. Whereas Soul was good, but I think Soul will probably win.
Yeah, I think Soul's probably going to win as well. I've been forgetting to do favourites and predictions, but I think we're just the same for everything so far, really, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So costume design,
Mm-hmm.
we've seen 2 of these. So there's Emma, Mank, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mulan, and Pinocchio. Costume design.
I'm again having not seen all of them. I'm going to predict and hope for Ma Rainey because I thought the costumes were really interesting and well done.
Yeah, I think so.
It really captured that time.
I hope that it's not going to be Emma because
No,
it's
I could see Mank because I think Mank is going to be one of those films that gets like 10 nominations and goes home very close to empty-handed.
Well,
So
I've
they've
got a whole table and spreadsheet for that, like
Okay.
how many nominations and how many we actually think it's going to get, so I can calculate the biggest loser.
Sure.
As in
Okay.
how many awards somebody didn't win.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So what you think it's going to be?
I'm going to go with Ma Rainey. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Music score.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Da 5 Bloods, which I don't think either of us have seen.
No, but I heard it was really good, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll get around to it.
There's Mank, Minari, News of the World, and Soul.
I guess I'll go with Soul. None of the ones with there was no score that really leapt out at me this year. I feel like Minari had a nice score, but I couldn't it's not coming to my mind right now.
Yeah, I can't. How many in my head?
Like sometimes there'll be one where you're like, oh, that score was amazing.
I mean, I guess that Soul had a lot of jazz in it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like
But-
it's got So I don't know.
But also, I can't really say I remember any of it other than like the film was about jazz and there were scenes where people were playing music.
Yeah,
I don't remember the music.
same. Yeah, I don't know.
So
I'll go with Minari because I feel like it was nice, but I don't specifically remember it. So
is it? Sure. So yeah, and then prediction.
I'll predict Minari. Sure.
Okay, sure. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go with Soul for both, I think. Okay, so next up is visual effects, of which we've only seen Tenet.
Yeah.
This is the blockbuster award. That's
And
how this always goes. This is where Marvel normally don't win their awards.
Yeah. Slim field this year.
So there's Tenet, there's Love and Monsters, The Midnight Sky, Mulan, and the one and only Ivan.
Yeah, I've not seen any of those other ones, so I'm just gonna have to say Tenet because I feel like that's the one that everyone's seen.
Yes, yeah, that's probably gonna.
You're gonna, yeah,
Play into
that's
the vote, isn't
gonna
it?
help, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Production design, we've seen all of these. We have The Father, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, News of the World, and Tenet.
Ooh, production design.
So like sets and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Now I think I'm gonna go for The Father for this. No, sorry. The Father's good actually. I meant to say Mank.
Yeah, I think Mank because it creates that whole like 1920s milieu,
Yeah.
very well, and it does do that well. Like it is impressively shot, and there's some very memorable set pieces in there. So yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, cool. That's a shame for The Father because I feel like that did a really good job.
It did. I mean, the apartment was kind of its own character.
Yeah. And like, I think this was the only thing that Tenet could have had a shout in, but absolutely not.
We just said it was going to win visual effects, didn't we?
Did I? Oh, yeah, sure. My memory is not good. Foreign film. I've not seen any of these. I believe that you've seen one.
I've seen Another Round, which I thought was ace.
So, yeah, we've got Another Round, Better Days, Collective, The Man Who Sold His Skin, and something in...
Something in Bosnian.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see the Bosnian one, actually, although I've heard it's horribly upsetting. I'll try and get around to it. Yeah, but I think Another Round. You should watch Another Round. I know, like the moment's probably past now, but it's a legit a good film. I predict there will be an American remake in the next 5 years, and it will not be as good. It will probably have someone like Seth Rogen in it, and it'll be like
I'm just imagining the Hangover crew.
yeah, because basically that's I mean it's much smarter and more interesting
Yeah.
and subtle than that, but it is basically a story about middle-aged white guys getting drunk.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this is going to get a disappointing or maybe a good, who knows, American remake.
Mm-hmm.
But watch the original; it's a good film. This is going to win because it's also nominated for Best Director, so it's clearly going to win.
Yeah. Right, so we're getting to some interesting awards from here on out. So we've got cinematography. So for this, we've seen all Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, News of the World, Nomadland, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. So I think this is probably the closest thing that News of the World is going to get to an Oscar.
I forgot that News of the World got so many like technicals,
Yeah.
considering it didn't get anything above the line.
And it was a really bad film.
I didn't think it was really bad. I thought it was kind of meh.
Yeah, it was very meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was here's another.
As an Oscar film, it's a bad film because
Sure.
it's just
meh.
fine.
It's your annual Tom Hanks one.
Yeah. Well, he had two.
Better than the Greyhound. Yeah.
So yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, News of the World, Nomadland, Trial of Chicago 7. Nomadland, I think.
Yeah, I really appreciated the cinematography.
I think
it really captured the American landscape beautifully.
yeah, it had so many great shots in it that I can't do anything else. Writing original. So Judas and the Black Messiah, Minari, Promising Young Woman, The Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7.
I have a horrible feeling that Chicago 7 will win this because people just love
Really?
Aaron Sorkin. But I'm going to go with Promising Young Woman because I thought it was a fantastic script, really witty and popped really well and different and unusual and interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Judas and the Black... No, I was about to say, because there were some really great speeches in there, but they probably weren't part of the writing.
Well, of course they were.
Well, no,
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of it might have been taken
they're
from
real-life speeches.
Yeah, I don't know how much they were adapted, but sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird that like this is writing original when it's things like Judas and the Black Messiah and Trial of the Chicago 7 are based off like very specific, well-recorded events.
Sure, but I bet the dialogue, well, certainly the dialogue in the Sorkin one won't be anywhere near what was real. You know, he'll have gone on his own direction on that. So I'd imagine that there's a huge amount of
But
creative
what I'm saying
license.
is like it's still based off something.
It's still
'cause-
adapted from something, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there's
yeah.
no like source material to work, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have I just mixed these up actually? Because writing adapted is Borat's subsequent movie film.
I guess it's adapted from the original Borat movie?
That doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
Ah,
It's
well,
confusing.
Whatever. Maybe I've made a mistake. Maybe I've not. Anyway, so for that first one with Judas and the Black Messiah and stuff, I'm going to go with, Judas and the Black Messiah as my favourite, but I am also going to predict Chicago.
Chicago.
Trial of
7.
Chicago
Oh,
7. Sorry. So writing adapted, apparently, Borat's subsequent movie film, The Father, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, and The White Tiger.
They are definitely the adapted ones because some of those are plays.
Right.
The Father was a play first and foremost, so you haven't made a mistake. Repeat them to me again, sorry.
Borat, The Father, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, The White Tiger.
Okay, I've seen
Two of
two of these, yeah.
Yeah,
so.
same. So I'm going to go with The Father, I think, because Nomadland nothing really shouted out to me as like that's really interesting.
I think
it was all boring.
I think the dialogue was very subtle in Nomadland, and yeah, I don't think that screams best screenplay. So unless it just like sweeps everything,
Yeah.
and just picks this up as well. No, I think The Father, I agree, had more of a more like dialogue-y dialogue, if you know what I mean. So
Okay, so directing.
here we go. Yeah.
So we've each seen 4 of these.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, you've seen. Oh, I've got a little error here, but you've seen all of them.
I've
so
seen all
another
these, yeah.
round: Promising Young Woman, Mank, Minari, Nomadland. So
Okay.
this is best director.
I would like to see Emerald Fennell get it for Promising Young Woman,
Same. Yeah.
but I think Chloe Zhao will get it for Nomadland, and I'm fine with that. I'm really, my main hope this year is that a woman wins, and they're both in my top 2 anyway, regardless. So I'll be happy with either of those 2 winning. If Thomas Vinterberg surprisingly wins, I won't be mad about it.
That's another round.
That's another round, yeah, but that's not going to happen. That's a long shot.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, favoriting Promising Young Woman and predicting Nomadland.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So now we're into the acting, finally. So supporting actress,
Yes.
Maria Bakalova from Borat's subsequent movie film, Glenn Close from Hillbilly Elegy, Olivia Colman from The Father, Amanda Seyfried from Mank, and the granny from Minari.
Yes. Subtly done there. Subtly done. So you didn't end up watching Hillbilly Elegy, did you?
No, so I've only seen The Father, Mank, and Minari.
Okay, so I've seen
All
The
apart from
Father,
Borat.
I've seen all but Borat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's got to be the lady. It's got to be Minari. It's got to be the old lady from Minari. Sorry, I don't have her name written down in front of me. But
Yeah, like I'd like a little. So Yoo Jung Yoon.
Yoo Jung Yoon, yes,
Yeah.
she's won pretty much everything in the run up. She's been delightful. So
Yeah.
and she is that. It's the definition of a great supporting. She's the most memorable part of that movie.
Yeah.
And she's not in all of it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Olivia Colman was really good, but she's already won recently, and it's not the kind of performance that's like, wow, yes, she has to win that again.
I agree. So is that favorite and prediction?
Favorite and prediction is the lady from Minari. I will laugh for a week if Glenn Close wins. I will just not stop laughing for a full week. Yeah.
It better not happen.
I
I've
can't
not
see
seen it, so I can't really comment.
I can't
but-
see. I mean, she's not bad. She's the best thing in the film, but it's just such a meh film.
She's often the best thing in a lot of meh films.
Yeah, it's kind of what she does. She needs
Yeah.
to get in better films.
Yeah.
Meryl gets in all the good ones.
Yeah. Well, she should get that first. Supporting actor. Sacha Baron Cohen from Trial of the Chicago 7. Daniel Kaluuya from Judas and the Black Messiah. Leslie Odom Jr. from One Night in Miami. Paul Raci from The Sound of Metal.
Or Racy, I believe, yeah.
Who is he?
He was the old man at the death camp who
assume
wanted
so,
to, yeah.
And Lakeith Stanfield, also from Judas and the Black Messiah.
Mhm.
So, who do you want to give this to? Daniel Kaluuya, do you think?
Yeah, I've seen all but Leslie Odom Jr. and I'm hoping to watch One Night in Miami tonight if I've got time, and then I'll have a better opinion. But yeah, for me, it's the two from Judas are far and away above, probably because they shouldn't be in this category.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unfair. I'd be happy with either of them, but Daniel Kaluuya. But for this, he's so magnetic and electrifying in this film, and also because he's been so good in so many other films, he's definitely due an Oscar.
Yeah. So, sorry, is that your favorite and prediction?
My favorite and prediction is Daniel Kaluuya. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the same because he was so entertaining whenever he was on screen,
Yeah.
and nobody else. Well, Lakeith Stanfield was very close, but nobody else was had quite that presence.
Yeah.
And that's what I want from a supporting actor.
Yeah, you want
somebody
somebody to just come in and steal the movie. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So, best actress now.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen all of these. I've only seen 3 of them.
Yes.
So, Viola Davis from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Andra Day from the United States versus Billie Holiday. Vanessa Kirby from Pieces of a Woman. Frances McDormand from Nomadland. And Carey Mulligan from Promising Young Woman.
So I just want to talk a little bit briefly about the two that you haven't seen here.
Yeah.
So that we haven't touched on yet, because they're both weird. So Andra Day in the United States versus Billie Holiday, I watched that the other week. It's a bad film.
Really?
Like a fundamentally badly made film.
Yeah.
Is
it like that Harriet Tubman film from last year that like it's great acting, really bad film.
Pretty much, yeah. It feels very, again, sloppy and amateurish and really cheesy. It felt like a TV movie. It really felt, it had TV movie vibes. I was like, how is this in the Oscar race? She is very good. She's very, very good. She's a great singer. She performs it well. But it's just, yeah, it's a TV movie that's somehow snuck into the Oscar race. And it's just a bit strange. Pieces of a Woman. I know that you've made a conscious choice not to watch.
I made a hard veto on that.
I support you on that. Yeah. You were correct not to watch it. Although I kind of wish you. I'm not gonna recommend it. Don't watch it. But I kind of wish you had, just because there's so much. It's bad in such an interesting way. It is a bad film. She's excellent in it. Vanessa Kirby, most famous from being in The Crown. She played Princess Margaret in The Crown.
Sure.
It's so weird. Like it opens with this 20-minute birth scene that ends with her baby dying. That's not a spoiler. That's just what happens, and that's what the film's about. And it's 20 minutes long, and it is brutal, and it's like watching a horror movie.
Wow.
There's no. I was watching that, and I was like, yeah, you should not. Harry should not watch that film. That's just not going to happen. That's just never going to happen. So yeah, that happens, and then it's weird. The film just kind of never lands on a consistent tone. It jumps all over the place and does so many weird things. So the acting is all over the place. Like, because once the baby's dead, it's kind of like her and the rest of her family. Her husband, played by Shia LaBeouf, and her mum, played by Ellen Burstyn, all having different ways of coping with the tragedy. And, you know, she just wants to like get on with her life, and she's kind of not very demonstrating how sad she is. She's just kind of, she like gives the baby's body to medical research, which her husband and her mother are like horrified by, and all kinds of stuff happens. And some of it's really interesting, and she's really good. But then there's just so much like there's a scene where the mom, Ellen Burstyn, gives the most quintessential, I'm looking at the camera, here is my Oscar speech, but it comes so out of nowhere. It's like, it honestly reminded me more than anything of that bit in the room where the old woman says, and I have breast cancer. It was that random. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
So it's weird. And Shia LaBeouf is just not up to the task of the acting that is required of him in this film. There's scenes with him that are like embarrassing, where he has to cry, and it's just like, oh no, this you were the wrong choice for this role. Yeah. So it's a strange film, and it's not very good, and I can't recommend it. So yeah, neither of those two. But
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. So to run down the list again, Viola Davis from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Frances McDormand from Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan from Promising Young Woman.
yeah, this is really interesting because it's really, this is like the closest one. There's no like runaway favorite here. I think Viola Davis will win,
Yeah.
but I hope Carey Mulligan wins.
Yeah. I think I kind of want to go with. Sorry, did you say Frances McDormand or Viola Davis?
I think Viola Davis
Yeah.
will win. I hope Carey Mulligan wins.
I think I'm going to go Frances McDormand for both.
Okay, wow, that's
think.
interesting.
Yeah, like I think that I didn't turn off the movie because of her.
She was so
performance.
good, sure. Yeah.
I think I would have turned it off otherwise. Like I'd only recently seen Mank. I was primed to give up on this.
Okay, sure. Okay, she clawed you over the line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas like Viola Davis, I don't really remember that role as much, and she's not in it loads.
She's in it more than you think. I watched it again, and yeah, it is very much a two-hander.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. I thought she was very good. My only reason for not putting her ahead is that it is, again, it's a play. It's a play that is now a movie, and nothing wrong with that. But it just felt like a play. Whereas I just really thought, again, Promising Young Woman is my favorite movie from this year of the Oscar bait stuff, and I thought Carey Mulligan was just absolutely fabulous in the role, and like an iconic. It felt like the closest thing to an iconic film role this season, so that's why I've gone with that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be mad at any of those three winning though. They all very much deserve it.
Yeah, definitely.
And if any of the other two win, I'll laugh again for a few days, not for a full week. It's not going to get the Glenn Close full week, but
Yeah.
I'll laugh for a day or two.
And then finally, or penultimately, because we still need to come back to Best Picture, Best Actor. So for this, we have Riz Ahmed in The Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins in The Father, Gary Oldman in Mank, and Stephen Yeun in Minari.
Yeah, good. This is a good category, I think.
Yes, that's a good.
The only one I don't like is Gary Oldman, and I didn't not like his performance. I just thought it was in a boring movie, and it wasn't like a classic Oldman performance.
Yeah.
So I'm going to count him out. Also because it was boring, and also he's won very recently. I think Chadwick Boseman. He's my prediction.
Yeah,
it seems like that's the way the wind is going. Yeah.
He's my prediction as well, but I'm not happy about it. Like he was great. It was a very good role that he did, but I just don't think it's the best in this list.
No, I don't. I think if he, it sounds so cynical. I do think if he hadn't passed away, I don't think he'd be the favorite. I think it'd be a different conversation. I'd be interested to know what it would look like if he hadn't died. Like, who would it be? Oh, well, clearly this is Anthony Hopkins' Oscar, or would Riz Ahmed be up there a little bit more? Like, I don't know, because I feel like he's really just the world has decided that Chadwick Boseman gets this, and and I think
I think I'll be quite surprised if he doesn't get it.
It'll be a huge surprise. I think if he doesn't, it will be Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah,
I actually think for me, my prediction is Chadwick Boseman. For who I would like to see win, actually, I would really like. I don't know, because I thought Stephen Yeun was in a film that I enjoyed more, but actually, I don't think his performance was that outstanding. I thought he was very good, but didn't blow me. Actually, so no, I'm going to say, even though I didn't love the film, I'll be happy if Anthony Hopkins wins because it's great, but he also has at least one Oscar. I think he's only got one. I'm going to say Riz Ahmed just because he was so carried that film. Yeah. So I would be happiest maybe if Riz Ahmed was a surprise winner. Yeah, no, that'd be really good because he absolutely deserves it. Like he's been a great actor for ages. Yeah, I love to see him get like this level of recommendation of acclaim and recognition. Thank you. This level of recognition that he's already got, and I'd love it to go one step higher. Absolutely. But my favourite is Anthony Hopkins from The Father. Sure. Because I feel like it's just one of the best performances that I've seen for a long, long time. Yeah. I'd be happy with, anyone on this list winning apart from Gary Oldman. So. Yeah. So for the best picture then, I have favourited The Father and you've done Promising Young Woman. But what do you actually think is going to win? What is your prediction? So I'm going to throw in a little bit of a curveball here because it's far from the favourite. But I predicted that Trial of the Chicago 7 will win.
Really?
Because sometimes the Oscars they just go for the most middle of the road. Like when Green Book won.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't always happen. Parasite one was great, and there are times when it doesn't happen. But yeah, I just have a feeling in my waters that in a year when there's been very few traditionally cinematic films out, this is the one that like goes down the easiest. It's a smooth down the gullet. It's one swallow, and you're done. So I feel like this will just like be the slight crowd pleasery, one that I think it will win, and I don't think it will deserve to win, but I think it will be that could happen.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. I disagree.
Sure, that's right. It's a curveball.
Yeah, I absolutely don't think it's going to win because there was just something missing from it that just it didn't quite have it for me. I don't think it's a very iconic film.
No, neither do I. This is not me saying it's good. This is just how I think the Oscars works sometimes.
Sure. I think they're going to go for Judas and the Black Messiah.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I think after the last year that we've had and how predictable the Oscars is when it comes to
making a statement.
Yeah. I think this is the time for a film like that to win.
Sure.
So that's what I think is going to happen.
I'd be very happy with that one.
I'd be really happy with that.
Yeah, I'd be on board with that. But I don't think so personally. But
yeah. So that's that.
So neither of us have actually predicted the one that's the overwhelming favorite, which is Nomadland. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
I don't know. So the film that we have predicted the biggest loser is Mank.
We
predict it's going to miss out on 8 awards.
Okay, out of 10. Sure.
Yeah, out of the 10 it's nominated. Promising Young Woman is going to miss out on 5. Father on 4, etc. Another Round is going to miss out on -1. I don't know how that's.
You've calculated it wrong. It's nominated for director and best foreign.
Yeah, I think I've accidentally put it on this list twice. So
because we predicted it would win best film, so actually it's 50-50. So
yeah, my highest predicted film to win most awards is The Father.
Okay.
The one I think is going to win most awards is Nomadland.
So what your favourites would be The Father if it won most, but
yes,
you predict that Nomadland will win more trophies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, I think that The Father's my favourite is The Father is. Thank you. I hope The Father is going to win 4 awards, but I predict that Nomadland is going to be the highest winner with 3 awards.
Okay.
You hope that Promising Young Woman is going to be the highest winner with 4 awards, and you've predicted Ma Rainey's Black Bottom with 3 awards.
Okay.
As the highest winner.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So yeah, biggest loser is Mank.
I'm happy. Yeah, if Mank comes out the biggest loser, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I can totally live with that.
Yeah. Cool. So that is that.
Oh, just over an hour. Fantastic.
Just over an hour, yeah. So thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for subscribing, I guess. I normally say that on a Patreon episode, but this is the main episode.
Yeah. But if you want to hear full reviews of those films, all of them, all the best picture nominees anyway, then sign up to our Patreon, please, for $2 a month or more.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, tune back, come back, whatever. In a couple of days after the Oscars.
For our reaction, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have an episode talking about whether we were all right, whether we were all wrong, whether, I don't know, Mank won all the awards.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I'll be pissed if that happens.
Me too, especially given I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't go back.
Even if it won like 10 out of 10, like became like a record-breaking historical...
I still wouldn't.
You'd still be like, nope.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm good.
Okay. Brilliant. Thanks, you. Yeah, I'm retired.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll enjoy the Oscars, whatever happens, wherever you're watching it. Be safe. See you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.